Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jay Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are thrilled to have Rick Buckingham, the founder of RDB Mentors. Rick brings over a decade of experience as an alumni interviewer for college applicants, a passion for mentoring high school students and young professionals, and an upcoming ebook, Becoming Your Best Self: 7 Strategies for Success in High School and Beyond. Based in Falls Church, Virginia, RDB Mentors, founded in 2021, is transforming how students and young professionals unlock their potential through Zoom classes, live events, and one-on-one coaching. We'll be exploring his founding story, how his business empowers clients in education and career development, and his vision for scaling this impact-driven venture. So with that being said, let's dive right in. Rick, welcome to Founders Future.
Hey, Jay, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you. And thank you for the generous introduction. I'm worthy of it, but that's okay.
Absolutely worthy of it, and an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show, Rick. So really would love for you to start at the top and take us back to the beginning. For our listeners here, what specific problem in the educational or mentoring landscape really inspired you to start RDB Mentors?
Well, this is an interesting story. So a good friend of mine's daughter got into college and she had a couple of choices where to go.
Yeah.
And it's her sister, my friend's sister, calls me and said, "Would you come over and talk to my daughter about college?" So I said, sure. And I went over and sat in the kitchen and we had milk and cookies.
Yep.
And we talked about college. And Jay, this young lady was pretty sharp. She'd already called the chemistry department. She wanted to see the syllabus. She was already, like, for lack of a better term, comparison shopping.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to me, I guess the mother was impressed how I talked with her daughter, and she called the university and suggested that I become an alumni interviewer. So a couple of weeks later, I get this. I didn't pick this. I only figured this out like years later, but I get this call and they're asking me, "Would you mind alumni interviewing?" I said, "Fine, be happy to." So at that point, I was living in the Bethesda area. There's a Starbucks there at Wildwood Shopping Center. That kind of became my de facto office. And I met these young people. And this is what I found, Jay, that was so interesting. They were talented. They were sharp. They were nervous. But yeah, I interviewed a couple hundred. Rarely did they put their best foot forward. I interviewed an Eagle Scout. I interviewed a Canadian young man from Canada playing hockey, and they both were very impressive. They were great from go. But I got to the point that I said to these young people, "Would you mind, could we just do a 10-minute coaching session? Let's see if I can't talk with you a little bit, explain the process." Jay, when I did that, transformation.
Incredible.
They were different. They were energized. The conversations were great. And I found that I really enjoyed it. And then I started getting connected with people. I started working on essays. And I don't know, I think part of it, in a way, I wasn't a great student. And I don't think I was the world's best interviewee or whatever. But I think a lot of the quote unquote success is built on the failure and built on the not doing it so well. So now I sit down and work with young people. And I got to be honest with you, this is a secret. I think I have one of the greatest jobs in America. My friend, Mr. Tucker, works downtown, and I told him a long time ago he has, but I think I'm neck and neck with him because I just enjoy working with these young people, and I enjoy seeing the transformation. So that's the genesis of this, of where it came from.
It's absolutely incredible. Definitely would love to really deep dive with you here, Rick, on what you're doing with RDB Mentors today as far as the core offer goes. I know that your ideal client there and you want to work with is young kids coming out of high school, going to college, or college going into a career and figuring out what they're going to do there. Would love for you to walk us through your core offer, exactly what you're doing there as far as the Zoom classes, the one-on-one coaching, group coaching, career.
That's a great question, Jay. That's a great question. So ideally, I'm a businessman. I think in terms of platform, I think about maximum impact. And really what we're focusing on doing is building an online portal that offers a wealth of information. And what we want to do, and we're just about getting ready to roll this out now, is we're going to offer essentially a Netflix-based subscription on or about the Netflix price. We haven't finalized it, but very close. And we're going to allow access to all these videos and then first-time sign up for reasonably priced Zoom classes and coaching sessions. And really, Jay, What our goal is to build community. We want to bring young people together. What we want to do is create a learning, non-threatening environment where young people partner with each other and they learn from each other. Now, I am a little older than you. I have to be honest with you. I'm very disappointed in what our generation is leaving to the next generation. So in a way, this is an attempt to try to rectify things. And I mean, as corny as this sounds, to try to make it a little bit of a better world and get these young people to talk to each other. And yes, you're right. I do get young professionals that reach out to me, and I get people that I mentored in high school that come back to me. I just did a great engagement with a young man who I mentored when he was in junior high, and he's taking a gap year next year, but he had to give this speech, and the young man gave a phenomenal speech. You know what was great about it? He wrote it. I get a lot of parents that say to me, write my child's paper. Okay, I don't want to write your child's paper, your young person's paper. I'm amazed at, this is what I said to you earlier, when that light goes on in their head, it's the greatest job in America.
Yes.
And if you let me tell this quick story, I interviewed a young man, had a very successful side business, and he played on a varsity team, and he was the star of the team. I think he was captain of the team, and he really struggled with the paper on Heart of Darkness. And I can remember meeting him, and he was sheepish, and he was shy, and he was diffident, and I could just tell that he didn't feel great about writing. And the paper was a C- or D, but I finally said, young man, just tell me your paper. And it rose from a D- to about a C+. And I had him tell me again, and it went to a B. But the best part about it, Jay, was a look in his eye. He's writing's just speaking. And I'm like, writing's just speaking. So some of the things I tell these young people, start the essay the day you're giving it. Yep. I don't know about you, Jay, but I do my best writing when I'm not writing.
Oh, yeah.
I put the thought down. Okay, I got to do a proposal on this, and I'll go to the gym. I'll go somewhere else. I'll go do something. I'll get engaged. I'll go to a movie, and bang. The best writing comes when I'm not writing.
Absolutely.
So sorry for the long-winded answer.
No need to apologize at all. That's the beauty of the show, is really understanding why you are where you are, Rick, and why you're a founder and what brought you here and the passion that you have. And clear as day, that passion and drive is there for you. I would love to know, out of the offerings that you have right now, how are you approaching RDB Mentors? Is this something that you're looking to really scale and take to the next level? Is it more of a passion project? Talk to us a bit more about that. And alongside of that, I would love to hear from you, which one of your offerings right now is the main offering, the bread and butter that you're really seeing a lot of attraction to?
Again, these are great questions. My left hand does mentoring. My right hand does business consulting. And almost every business owner I meet with, and I work in a variety, I don't work in any one segment, I work across industries. I always inevitably leave the first meeting telling the owner, you need a bigger boat. You need to scale. Bringing the clients in is easy. That's not the hard part. The hard part is attracting the right personnel and building a process. So the shoe cobbler is forced to do the exact same thing. So right now, in terms of scaling, what I'm doing, and it's been amazing how people have lined up, I'm locating the resources. I found a young lady who's a fitness trainer here in town, and she and her husband homeschooled their kids. She has a phenomenal energy. I see her kind of as the dean of additional mentors. She's process oriented. She has great energy. She's super smart. This is great. Surround yourself with people who are smarter than you are and that have a passion for it, and treat them fairly. So I've got people on the sidelines. I've been really fortunate because I have access to a Hollywood cinematographer who actually has been involved in a couple of Oscar productions. He's a young man, very talented. And we've shot a series of videos, but we're going to basically, within the next 6 to 12 months, have an online curriculum. And you asked me what I'm most excited about. I want a portal, Jay, for a young person at 2 a.m. that's struggling with Heart of Darkness, a Sylvia Plath poem, Ralph, Invisible Man, any of those that can go to this portal and get inspired and get ideas. And our promise to our people, to the young people, is you're going to be responded to within 24 hours, and we're going to pair you with a mentor. And we want the men to work with men and the women to work with women. This is all business. Again, there's nothing more beautiful. Together, you lay out the jazz line. You come up with the opening sentence, and then they take off. And when they take off, it's so much fun. And they get so energized. But yeah, I think that the videos for inspiration are great. As you can tell, I really enjoy teaching because I'm always learning. I argue to people, if you utilize YouTube properly, you can get a phenomenal education. And if
No,
anyone doubts that, email me and I'll send you a curriculum. But
I
I've
love it.
stumbled on unbelievable videos. And Jay, I'm like old school. I sit down with a pen and paper. It takes me a while to get content. And I write it down and I study it and I review it. I usually write about it. Only when I get engaged with the content does it really sink in. And that's what's fun.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So with that, I would definitely love to hear a bit more of what's working best for you now then, Rick, on the acquisition side of things. What channels are you seeing most effective for consistency? And do you have a lever that you can pull for a predictable lead generation system?
It's great. I feel there's some sort of force directing the right people to me.
Okay.
The fact that you and I connected, which I'm
Yes.
honored and blessed to be on this and back at you. I really enjoy your energy and your
Thank you.
enthusiasm. It's amazing when like-minded people get together with positive thoughts and positive directions, how far things can go. So I've been really fortunate, I think, in locating the right sources. I'm a little older. I struggle with the technology, but I've got some great team members that are helping me build out this portal. And essentially, I think this portal can do just about everything. So I feel like the right resources are coming to me. We're building out the portal. We're soon to be doing live events. We're getting a rigorous social media program in place. And what we want to do is drop a lot of inspiring content. And you're not going to find a 15-minute video from me. You'll be hard pressed to find that. I'm happy to do a class. I'm happy to schedule time with you and talk as long as you want. I think Lincoln did a lot of great things at Gettysburg, but one of the best things he did was take a wealth of information and channel it down to 10 sentences and 272 words. Bravo. Would that we all learn to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So with that there, a couple of things that stuck out to me. It is one that you are building the social media presence right now, right? So that's a big factor. And then not doing much around ads or really getting that out there. So it sounds like that could be the next step for you to really continue to get yourself out there, scale the company to that next level, is being able to build that lever internally to have that predictability.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you mentioned ads. Not that I'm against ads, but I really believe in treating people fairly and respectfully. And here's what you're not going to get. If you sign up for our programs, you're not going to get inundated with pitches every other day.
Right.
You're going to be respectfully treated. And if you feel that way, I want you to call and tell me that. Because again, just like with you and I feel like attracts like. What we want to do is share content. This is a great example. I am an avid reader of the New York Times. I started reading in college. I just really enjoy it. And they have great obituaries. Here's something, Jay, that I don't think you're ever going to find any other mentor say. Read obituaries. Why do you read obituaries? First of all, people's lives are amazing. And it's fascinating. And most of these people start with nothing and end up here. And how do they do it? But there was a great obituary on Leonard Lauder, who was Estee Lauder's son. And it was phenomenal how he grew this business. And I not only read the obituary, I saved it for my best friend. I'm going to send it to him. But I also went online and read about this guy's book that had all 5-star reviews. Came out in 2020. I think it's called The Company I Keep. And I ordered it. And I'm so eager to get that book. So a lot of what we do is just sharing information, sharing content, sharing lessons.
I love it. I absolutely love that. So with that there then, as far as the sales process goes, Rick, are you running the show on your own when it comes to the sales side, marketing side, and getting all that together? Or do you have a team behind you getting this?
I've got a couple people that are smarter than I have a young lady down in San Antonio, Texas, who's very good. I have a young lady in St. Louis who's really good. And I have to be honest, Jay, I love the word kitchen cabinet. I forgot which president came up with that. After we get done, I'll Google that. But I really like bouncing ideas off other people, because I'm never sure necessarily if something's really going to fly. I like to pilot things and I like to see results. But there's that great Oscar Wilde thing where talent imitates and genius steals. And sometimes I just see some brilliant marketing things that are like, I want to do that. I've got 1 or 2 people in my social media network or whatever. Not that I want their services, but I love their cadence.
Yes.
I love the cadence. And it's a little bit more content that I want, but I'm constantly learning. How do you go better to market? How do you help people without overwhelming them and being a nuisance where they just hit delete? Ideally, as corny as this sounds, We want to create content that people are like, what are they going to post next? What's coming next? What's the next idea? And by the way, we do a lot of listening to people and asking and gaining feedback. What's working, what's not. I always do that after I finish a coaching session. I ask them to rate the session, and then I ask them what worked and what didn't work. And while we're on that, with the videos that we do, you'll have the ability to rate them. Any video that falls behind an 8 gets pulled off. It won't be there. You're only going to get really quality videos. And the ones that are less than an 8, I'm going to read all the content, and we're going to ideally reshoot it, recalibrate it, rework it, and it'll get reposted. But all we want to do is bring value, because our feeling is one of the best ways to learn is to lead and just do. And I don't profess to be the do-all end all, learning every day, which is what makes it fun.
I love it. So can we say, after all that really coming in, having a really good view on what you're doing here, I would say as far as a bottleneck goes, what stood out to me there is more on that lead generation side, getting a more predictable system in place there. And that sounds like you're really working to break through that bottleneck, and then maybe getting a little bit more help around the sales side and having more there so you can continue to work on the fulfillment aspect.
Absolutely.
So break down for me here, Rick, the vision for the next 6 to 12 months. I know that the online community and portal is something that you're really locked in on and focused on, but really talk us through that. What does the rest of this year look like for you?
Yeah, I'm gonna laugh. Clearly, you're very good at this because you ask very good questions.
I appreciate it.
I would love to get the portal. We're close to finally launching, getting feedback. In the next 6 to 10 months, I would love to get a sizable critical mass, at least hundreds, if not 1,000 students on it and giving us impact. Remember, Jay, we talk about building community. So I want this portal to be about kids. I want it to be about young people. I want it to be something that they gravitate to, that they're interested in what's going on. And this would really mean a lot to me, because this meant a lot when people did this to me. When I've had a bad day, when I get that bad paper back, when I can't figure out how to write this paper, when I can't figure out how to study for this history class because I hate history, yes, I want them to pop on and get either immediate access to us and get a coach lined up right away that they can do 15 minutes together, and they walk away transformed. Because at the end of the day, again, I have one of the greatest jobs in America. I walk away transformed. When I watch that light go off in their head, it's like the greatest feeling in the world. And it forces me, how do I do that? So when you ask my question, your question, next 6 to 10 months, ideally, we're going to be further ahead in tapping that model. One of the resources here had a great idea of doing some focus groups with young people. And as school is ending, yes, that's something that we're going to do. And you know what, Jay? We're going to continue to do it. We're going to continue to ask, what can we bring to market? It's anything like in business, right? What's the best question you ask your client? How can I better serve you? Absolutely. And if you're really sharp, you're writing down what they say, and you're writing it down in their words and phrases. And I've done this for a living. The best suggestions usually come from the clients. Hey, incredible. What if you guys did this? Could you provide me this?
Incredible. Incredible. With that there, Rick, I want to take us into the lightning round before we wrap up the show here.
Terrific.
2 questions for you on this side. And the first one's going to be, how do you personally see the mentoring industry evolving in the coming years, especially with your focus on education and career development? What are you doing to really position yourself at the forefront of that evolution?
Meet people where they are. They're online. Meet them where they are, number one. Number 2 is, and I'm giving away some of my trade secrets here, but number 2 is it has to be a blend, Jay, of education, information, and entertainment. I think about the greatest teachers that I had, and they were phenomenal entertainers in a way. My favorite teacher was a high school teacher that I took as many times as I could take, and he started off reading aloud to us. And he read us Langston Hughes, Daughter to Son. He read aloud to us Tale of Two Cities. So that's what we want to do. We want to make it a positive, pleasant experience.
Incredible. Last but definitely not least here, to wrap up the show, Rick, what is a piece of advice that you could offer to our listeners tuning in right now? Just heard your incredible journey and what you're doing and where you're really looking to go. What can you leave them with before we wrap up the show today?
I was at the gym this morning, and I was working out with a young lady. She's 21. She's young.
Yep.
And we were both talking about how what you do outside the gym is as important, if not more important, than what you do in the gym. Jay, I think that's so true. I got golf lessons years ago, and I'll never forget The golf coach says to me, Richard, it's not what you do on this driving range that matters, it's everything you do off of it. So I would suggest to young people, the things you do outside the classroom are super important. And I'll finish with this. In a funny way, I was a nerdy, quiet, shy kid, and all my friends liked music. Okay. And I hung around with these guys and I listened to the music that they listened to. I was never a trailblazer. I just picked up the albums they were talking about.
Yep.
I fell in love with music and it became a restful habit for me. I would do my work and then I would spend a half an hour listening to music. I never realized, Jay, what a great habit that was. Because not only did it soothe me, it taught me about algorithms and it taught me about patterns and it taught me about vocabulary. And it opened up for me a world that I didn't have. As corny as it sounds, go find a really positive habit. And if you're struggling finding a positive habit, reach out. We will help you develop it.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. With that right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Rick, truly cannot thank you enough coming on the show.
I had a great time. I had a better time than you did.
A phenomenal time. Just being able to hear your journey and your insights, and clear as day, your passion, your energy, your drive.
Yeah.
This is what I love to have on the show. So truly an honor and a pleasure. It was a beautiful conversation. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, which I do know so many of you have, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And also don't forget to check out RDB Mentors at rdbmentors.com to learn more about their mentoring services and upcoming ebook. And follow Rick on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/Rick-Buckingham. And for more resources and insights, you can visit us here at closers.io, where we are dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class marketing systems. Until then, keep climbing, and we will see you on the next one.